Hi, just here having a little walk in the nice countryside and to talk about madness. And a wise woman once said that imperfection is beauty, madness is genius, and it's better to be absolutely ridiculous than absolutely boring. So I would agree with that, and I'm definitely guilty of doing some pretty crazy things in my time, but I think when I've done those things, I actually do have, believe it or not, an awareness that what I'm doing could be perceived of as a little bit crazy. But I think it is better to just do that and be a bit wacky than to be boring. I think that's partly about being human as well. It's like we're all kind of playing a role, we're playing a character a lot of the time. And without these people who are slightly quirky or eccentric, if you're rich enough, you can be called eccentric, then yeah, I think a lot of really cool things wouldn't happen. So, but as they say, it is a fine line, so you never know. You might tip over at some point into that. But I'd like to think I have never gone too far. Not sure about that. But yeah, it's just getting the balance is a difficult balancing act, as Dr. Seuss, I think, once said something about that. Life is a balancing act. And yeah, you've got to be aware if you go a little bit too far with these things and kind of rein it in a bit. I have never been classed as having any mental health problems myself, and believe it or not, I have actually one time seen a psychologist, but that was because of really more grief counselling. And I remember once saying to a nurse that I felt like I was going crazy, and she actually said to me the fact that I could rationally think I was going crazy kind of proved that I wasn't, because most people who are actually crazy will swear that they are not. So yeah, but what I would say is that I think I'm quite drawn to people who have mental illnesses, and I think maybe that's because I do find them a bit more exciting, a bit more interesting. And yeah, it's weird really, but I do definitely find myself drawn to these people who are just maybe a little bit walking the line. Yeah, but I think there's a reason for that, and maybe they are onto something a lot of the time. And there's another quote that I can't quite remember, but it's something about people who fit into an insane society, maybe they are actually the crazy ones. And I think the society we live in, it is pretty nuts, and it values the wrong things. So I think the people who actually work well in that system, you could argue that maybe they're the ones who have got something not quite right, because if they're able to fit in with this kind of very topsy-turvy world, then who's to say who's really the crazy ones. So yeah, I think the people who more reject the kind of design for life, as the Manic Street Preacher said, the people who reject that, maybe they're actually the ones who are the smarter ones really. And yeah, I think I'm drawn to more those types of people. So